So this is understanding the very basics of market auction theory. And one thing you should understand is that a candlestick will never show you this information, which is essentially why you are trading blind if you're only using ICT concepts, because ICT concepts as a whole will not give you the true story, right? You need to combine everything with order flow. Order flow is essentially the bid and the ask data. Right? So the bid and the ask data is what gives you information on who is aggressive. And then later on in the free training, we will go into who is passive, and we will understand the interaction between being aggressive and being passive. And then we can use this to predict potential market movements. That is the kind of the direction we were going to be going in. We're actually going to be going over the volume and the delta. So the volume and the delta come in profiles. And what do I mean by that? So again, we have a red candle and a green candle. We're always going to be going back to candles. And I want people to really understand that you cannot ever predict any kind of price action moves if you're not familiar with the concept of delta and volume. And you can never really get this from a candle. You have to revert to footprint charts. You have to revert to order flow. So what do I mean by the delta? Let's start with the delta, right? So we've been through this in a previous session, but the delta can either be positive or negative. A positive delta will show a blue rectangle over here. So when we see a blue rectangle, that corresponds to a positive delta. And a positive delta is when the ask minus the bid is above zero. So what that really means is that the ask, which remember corresponds to aggressive buying. So when the ask is greater than the bid, you will see a positive delta, which is a blue delta. Now, vice versa, if the bid is greater than the ask, this represents more aggressive sellers than there are aggressive buyers, hence why the delta will be red. And we can also see the profile of this. So the profile is basically a fancy way of saying how negative is the delta, how positive is the delta, right? So for example, if we kind of zoom into this candle a little bit more, we see here 44 for 0.